Hi everyone and welcome to Mirare Wellness. I'm Vyushti and today we're just gonna get a general message from Spirit. I'm leaving it completely open for whatever messages to come through. So as I'm tapping into the energy, I feel the sense of groundedness. There's this image of the tree trunk that I find that is coming through where you really feel like you have these strong roots that are really allowing you to grow. And there's so much work that you've done around self-worth, around self-trust, around um, just truly seeing and becoming who you always were. And there's a sense of security in that. So, with that as the sort of framework for starting this reading, I'm gonna begin with an energy check. And if this part doesn't resonate with you, then most likely this reading um, isn't meant for you. So, and also, just as I'm shuffling this, please know that these are general readings. So don't try to make a message fit. Feel it in your body, feel it in your intuition. If it's meant for you, it's meant for you. But if you're trying to make sense of it to see how it's applicable in your life, then most likely that message wasn't meant for you, it was for someone else. So with that said, Spirit, can we get an energy check for the people listening into this reading, please, Spirit? What is the energy of, thank you, and can we get just one more card? What is the energy of the people listening into today's video? And also, these are timeless readings, so whenever this message found you, it was meant for you. But I am recording this a few days before the blue full moon, so yeah. Just one card, please, Spirit, for the people listening. Can we just get an energy check before we get guidance, please? Only one card. It's interesting that the cards are taking so long to pop out, and I think what this is also letting me know is that there's a lot of trust that you've cultivated in yourself, like I had already mentioned. And these readings that you're watching, not just mine, but whether it's on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, whatever it is, you don't need to be watching so many readings. You don't need to be interesting. I didn't realize that the light went off. Trust your light. Yeah, you don't need to be watching so many of these videos to help you make guidance and make any decisions, because of the trust you've developed in yourself. So if you find yourself escaping into these videos to get the confirmation, maybe ask yourself where you're still lacking that trust and why you need that external validation to emphasize that, hey, maybe this is the right path or this isn't the right path for me. With that, we have the crone. Wow. And we have conflict. Okay, that makes sense why you're watching videos to help you. So with the crone, with also the number being 13, really is reminding me of the death card. But more than you experiencing a death right now, it's you've experienced multiple deaths in your lifetime, and you might have experienced one again, but more so the rebirth. But you're in conflict with both the old past version of you and this emerging newer version of you, and you're trying to navigate the waters and deal with this maybe whiplash that you're getting between your past and current lives, or your past and emerging lives. But you've cultivated so much wisdom along your spiritual journey. You've cultivated so much um, trust. Like, the word trust keeps coming through, but like, you have become this crone, this wise soul that is sort of this mediator between realms. You've really managed to marry the earthly and the ethereal, and you've managed to not just oscillate between them, but integrate them um, into a very grounded way of being a spiritual soul. And that takes a lot of effort, and that takes a unique soul to be able to do. And it takes a person who's in deep integrity, in deep service to the self, and also love, right? And I'm not talking about romantic love, but love being this fundamental life force energy that permeates and just permeates everything, right? And envelops everything too. And that's really this energy that you've been able to tap into, and that you've been such a diligent student of. And because of that, you are this being with so much grounded wisdom. And you're being asked to really trust this wisdom that you've gained in navigating this, because when your life is conflicting with one another, right? And what I mean by that is your old life and your emerging life. When there is conflict in that, there is a tendency to, oh, that's interesting. Okay. So, what I was talking about, the cards taking time, and like you watching videos to get that external validation. Maybe it's not just the cards, maybe it's you're reaching out to people, to friends, to family members, to people who have known you for however long, right? And you're asking them for guidance, for advice on how to navigate these choppy waters, but they haven't been where you are. And in you asking for their advice, you are asking people who have not walked the same path as you, or who hasn't reached the destination you want to reach, and you're asking them for advice. And that is really setting you back, because their perspective of reality is very different from yours. And yes, they know you in a way that maybe other people don't, but they don't know who you have become or who you want to be. And there is this request from spirit to come back and trust what you have learned, trust the path that you're on, trust the wisdom that you have gained, and trust. There's some, what is that? And trust that you are being witnessed by something divine, and you are being guided by something divine. And really rest back into your body, into your intuition, into your heart, to be able to listen to the guidance. Because right now, especially because of the environment that you're in, whether that's a physical environment, mental, emotional, spiritual, whatever it is, but something about the space that you're in, that's taking you away from this trust, and that's making your mind go in all these different directions, and there might be some amount of anxiety that's emerging. So yeah, just come back to yourself and hold this wisdom, because you have it. And it's really about attuning yourself again to your own wisdom, and that's what's going to set the sail right and move you forward. And interestingly, with the crone being 13 and this being 4, both numbers reduced to 4, and 4 is a card of balance. And as I say this, I'm seeing the four of wands, which is also the 1111 card. It's a card of union, it's a card of balance, it's a card of beauty, and it's a card of love. And that's the energy that is being invited into your life. But it's just right now, at this point, you're being asked to reconcile these conflicting energies within you, and also reassessing what attachment you have to this past version of you, or this past life that you've had, and how can you release that in a way that's loving and compassionate and authentic to you, and that is steeped in integrity. So, with that said, I am gonna pull some tarot for any further guidance on this. So, for the collective listening in, please, Spirit, what other guidance do you have for them? What do they need to hear? And sorry if you can hear my dog in the background. He's having just a little bit of fun in the sun. So, yeah, anyway. For the collective listening in, please. Woo! Okay, then. Do I want to take them all? No. But yeah, interesting that. Let's just see what came up. And I'm going to quickly read this. Ooh. I love that the Two of Cups is here. But what I'm seeing with the Two of Cups is really this merge of the past and emerging lives, right? Yes, it's a card of love and divine union and all of that fun stuff, but in this particular context, it is this love that you have for yourself and the love that you have in the future that you're creating. And that's another piece of wisdom that you've gained over the multiple deaths and rebirths you've had in your life. It's that you have to create your life. Life isn't going to always be delivered to you, and it takes a lot of spiritual wisdom to have that, because there's a lot of spiritual bypass that can occur where we're just like, oh, life will be given to me. Oh, I just need to be in the right energy and I will attract everything that I want. And yes, that's true, but also you have to put in actionable steps and you need to take actions towards making that reality possible and to also call it in. And this is where you're being asked to take that action. Is just like, how are you going to release these past tendencies? And it could also be habits or behaviors that are just anchoring you into a older paradigm. So how can you release that in order to really immerse yourself in this life that is emerging? And with the two, oh, not the Two of Wands, I don't know where I got that. But with the Three of Wands and the Nine of Wands, you've been through so much. You've learned so many lessons. You've been through so many hardships. But with each of that, you've gained so much, and you know you've gained so much. And that's really preparing you to receive, right? And like from this conflict, you're moving towards expansion. You're moving towards this Emperor, which is the Four, interestingly. And really being that, like, you know how I opened the reading with this image of the tree trunk? That's what this Emperor represents. He is the trunk. Like, he has such a strong foundation, but he's perpetually expanding his empire, but in a way that is in integrity with the wisdom he has gained, right? And the way he's holding this, you have also really managed to understand the value, or if not understood, you're really trying to understand the value of the masculine and the feminine. And maybe you've been skewed in either one direction up until now, but you're really being invited to see the value in the dual aspect, right? Like, what is the value of the feminine? What is the value of the masculine? And how have I ignored either the masculine or feminine? And how do I merge them to really, again, create the life that you want? Because in this Emperor, the way he's holding this ball, I don't know what it is, but intuitively it feels like a crystal ball. It feels like High Priestess energy, right? And even with the Ankh over here. So it's really just this invitation of, yes, I'm going to create, but I'm going to do it. My dear friend and coach, I leave her details in the description below. She says, lead with the feminine and harmonize with the masculine. And this is really the energy that I'm getting, where, and with what that really means is, don't ignore. And with leading with the feminine, it's just really leading with love, with nurture, with this womb-like capacity to hold and create, right? So with that, I'm going to leave the Two of Cups because it just wants to stay there. I'm going to get only a few more cards for this. Can we get any more guidance regarding this, please, Spirit? Or anything else you want to share with the viewer? What else do they need to hear in regards to this phase of their life or anything else? And look at the High Priestess like popping out. Ooh, with the Hierophant as back of deck energy. Oh my God, would you look at that? Like, this is the feminine and the masculine in the most spiritual sense, right? With the High Priestess being the person who knows things, who's really connected to these ethereal realms and is connected to this divine wisdom, and so intuitive, so magical, so spiritual. And then the Hierophant is this masculine version that has access to this feminine wisdom, but is able to ground it and communicate it with the people that are there to listen. And he's merging this wisdom, the High Priestess wisdom, with the earth. And that's what a lot of what I'm getting is. It is this marriage of dualities that that's really happening at this point in time for you. This reading has been so strange in the way the cards have been coming out, so I apologize for that, but I'm just going with the flow. Can we just get one final card, please, Spirit? Okay, two more, I guess. And we have Nine of Wands again as back of deck energy. So we have the Nine of Cups, the Three of Wands again, and Justice. Okay, and all three came in the reverse. So can you see the cards? I think you can. I'm gonna put this here like this. Okay. Okay. So what is this trying to say, please, Spirit? Oh my God, you've been through some really hard stuff in life, you know, and you've been through so many deaths, like I've mentioned, and there's a part of you that really feels like you're not going to have your dream life, right? Like whether that's the soulmate, whether it is success, whether it's abundance, whether it's your soul tribe, your soul family that really understands you, whether it's just your dream career, right? Like whatever it is, because of like the universe also just testing you and trying you, there is this fear that you're not going to get your dreams, you're not going to get everything you wanted. And you've done the gratitude, you've done the affirmations, you've done all the work that you've been guided to do, you've done so much shadow work, but it seems like you're just not being met with the reward you wanted. And because of that, life feels sort of constrictive. It feels like I've done all of this, but when am I going to actually be able to live it? And that's really it feels really constrictive, and that's really making you lose faith in the universe, and that's completely okay, right? And there is this sense of just allowing yourself to feel this anger towards whoever, like your higher self for choosing the lessons that you chose to learn, towards the universe, towards God, whoever you believe in, like whatever your higher power is, it's okay to feel anger towards them. And they also, believe it or not, they are okay with receiving that anger, because it's also showing yourself more than anyone else, like this is what I stand for and this is what I don't, and this is what I freaking deserve. And it's really setting that tone. So you know, if you feel that anger, you feel that disappointment, you feel that heartbreak from the universe, despite you doing so much work, it's okay to express it to it, you know, and you will receive what you need to in that expression. But in trying to be positive and trying to be like, okay, fine, it'll happen, and forcing yourself to believe otherwise is in some way or form a type of bypass. So allow yourself to experience the grief, express the grief, the anger, the sadness, the disappointment, and all of that, because that adds dimensionality to your experience, and it really allows you to have this whole experience of reality. And with the Justice card here in reverse as well, there is this sense of like, why me? Or like, why am I never, like, why can't I ever catch a break? And there is this sense of like, what have I done to deserve this, right? And is it some past life thing that I've done? Is it my karma? And how do I like resolve this? And I want to get a clarifier on what that's trying to say. So Spirit, can we get more information on the Justice in reverse, please? Thank you. Whoop, okay. Yay. Okay. Oh, beautiful. Okay. Yeah, and you know what the universe wants to say to you in return is like, they understand that it's hard and they're sorry that it's hard, but you know, this image of the bamboo has been coming to me a lot over the last week, and that's what I'm getting with this Empress card, where there's this so the bamboo takes, I don't know the time, so I'm just gonna make something up, but you can do the research. But like, it takes years or months or whatever, but like a really long time underground for it to grow, and you don't see much of it on the surface. But then once the bamboo starts growing, it just shoots up and it just grows so rapidly, and that's the energy that I'm getting from you. It's just like, yes, I know it's hard, and yes, there's this tendency to ask what you've done to deserve this and what karmas you have and how do you learn the lessons or fix it, and you know, just learn the lesson so that you can move past the cycle. But also trust that this period is part of breaking that cycle, because you've done so much work, and because you're also, you've reached a point where you can hold so much love and compassion for yourself and for your journey. And expressing that anger that I was talking about, or the grief or whatever, is also part of loving yourself wholly. And that's what you're really being asked to do. Just be authentic in your expression of the discomfort and the conflict of life right now, you know. And there's also so much coming through with the Empress. This is such beautiful, fruitful energy, and it's truly abundant in every sense of the word, but it's not abundant in this loud materialistic way. But it's like the energy of abundance is being rooted in your existence, in your various bodies, right? Your physical, mental, emotional, vital, subtle, all of them. So that's the energy that's really being rooted into you, and you're going to very slowly, and I say slowly because sustainably, like the seed of the bamboo underground, like develop that, create it, grow it, and then it's just gonna, and then you're just gonna grow, because we have the Ace of Wands, and that's new beginnings, and that's again like with all these flowers, right? Like it's and it's the same flowers that are here. It's really this beautiful new beginning that is just beyond, right? Like with the clouds, it just feels like emergence, and it's truly, truly, truly heart-led and passionate and colorful and just incredible in every way and form. And with the Ace of Wands as well, the Wands is a fast energy. So the second you start sensing and tasting this new beginning, trust that it's going to just be beyond, you know, like truly like nothing you've experienced before. Because with the Six of Wands here as well, this is a card of success, it's a card of victory, it's a card of having everything you wanted, but it's not without its hardships, right? Because the Six of Wands is this character who's won the war, but there had to be a war to win, and you have experienced the war, and you can sense that, okay, fine, you're winning, and you've just not yet won, and that's why you think you're losing, but you're not. And you really are about to taste that victory and feel that victory, feel like you've really freaking done a lot and you deserve to be happy. And I really ask that you pat yourself on the back for all the work that you've done, for just the way you've handled yourself and handled your character and integrity in the face of hardship, because it's not easy to do that. But you've been so committed to your growth, to yourself, and you're not willing to give that up. And it's an honor to be reading for people like you, because I think we need more of you in this world, in this planet, to create this shift. Um, and I trust that you're being able to do that. And there's also something about, as I'm looking at this horse's eyes, there is something about wisdom from animals and freedom and being free like an animal. Like, haven't you seen those videos of horses running on the beach? I'm just getting like that's how life is going to feel. You're going to feel like a horse just running on the beach with other horses who, in this case, represent your soul family. And it really feels that that's what you're moving towards in the energy right now. And yeah, just trust your intuition as you go through this. There is this sense of not listening to the noise, to the voices, to the people that are not on your path, or that are part of your life but not, and that might remain a part of your life but are not moving in the same way that you're moving. So really, really trust yourself, even if it's opposing the general consensus, because you are not here to do what the general does. You are here to do what you came here to do, and that is your unique path, and that is the most beautiful path that you could be on. So with that said, I'm just going to get one last card for a closing message on and guidance. And I'm sorry if you can hear my dog cry. So just one final message for the collective, please, Spirit. What do they need to hear to close this reading? Just one. Oop. Okay, I'm gonna take both. So first we have patience. I accept that everything happens in divine order. And yeah, I think that's one thing that you're not only being asked to cultivate, but you're being sort of told that this is one of the lessons that you're learning through this experience, because patience truly is a very important lesson on the spiritual journey, not just because of our need to control and like us thinking we know better than the universe, all of that, yes, but patience is truly presence. It's about immersing yourself in the present moment, in what life is trying to show you, in what life is trying to teach you. And if you can sit with that discomfort of the lesson, of the intensity of emotion, of whatever it is, that is allowing life to unfold for you. That is allowing your divine story to be written, and for you to be witnessing it as it unfolds, as opposed to you trying to like write the story and write the ending before it's time for you to do that. So patience is truly a lesson of presence. And once you're present with life and you're able to do that more often than not, because let's be honest, we're human, we're not going to be able to be present all the time. So holding space for our humanness, but really trying to cultivate more of that patience, is really allowing us to be present to the magnanimity of life that is happening right now. And there is so much happening right now, which is why we try to escape the right now with thoughts, with fantasies, with ideas, with whatever it is, with also substances. There's just so many ways to escape the present, but in some ways it might be more subtle than not. So really, again, asking yourself, is this really me being present, or is this me actually trying to escape the present but tricking myself into believing that I'm being present? I hope that made sense. And regret. I know that I cannot change the past. Whole space, again, like what I mentioned earlier about the humanness of it all, right? Like along the path, we all do things that we might not be happy with ourselves, so we might not be proud of ourselves for doing it, or we might also feel like like we should have known better. You know, we've been through so much, so we should know better instead of trusting certain people or whatever it is, right? But there's this sense of like, you've been through so much, so why am I not applying these lessons? Why am I like releasing my boundaries for certain people again? Or why am I overextending myself for people again? Why am I catching myself fall back into these cycles again? But instead of being harsh with yourself for doing that, really sit in compassion for yourself and ask yourself, you know, what part of me really needs this sort of validation, or that is not ready to let this go, with this opening message that we had got. That So really, like, sitting with yourself and inquiring about these patterns and listening to yourself without judgment. You know, the answer you get might not be something you like. It might be something that you don't want to admit to yourself, that your ego might feel threatened to accept, because you have this idea of who you are. You've identified with certain labels, and what answers you might get from this might be countering those identities that you have defined yourself with. And really allowing the ego to settle down, really allowing your identifications and labels to settle down, and allow these truths to emerge and sit with them, and allow it to change and evolve your identities and labels too. Because I think one of the biggest beauties of being human is our capacity for growth and evolution. And, you know, once we allow the rigidity to fall away, we can really blossom into these creative, dynamic beings that are not just this like unidimensional character, but rather this multiplicity that is coexisting in harmony and interacting with itself in the most beautiful ways, if we're only willing to sit and witness it. You know, so really allow for that to come forth, and notice how you start blooming and blossoming. And it's okay to not be perfect. It's okay to not have everything figured out, even if you're like years and decades into the spiritual journey. As long as you're alive, there is more to learn. As long as you are alive, there's more to reconcile with. And that will be patterns from the past, that will be things that maybe you messed up, and that's okay. Just give yourself a hug while you're doing it, because there is so much magic here. There is so much magic in who you are. And I'm truly grateful that, you know, for whatever reason you resonated and clicked on this video, and trust that life is happening for you. And when you feel like life is happening to you, it's okay to express it. So just express your authentic expression and your authentic experience of this life. And in expressing it and releasing it, fall back into the wisdom that you've gained through the multiple deaths and rebirths you've experienced, because you are an incredibly wise soul. And you're going to really do wonders for yourself. You're going to really be living life. And I know that sounds really simple, but when I say living life, I mean it in the most depth and the most complexity, and I don't know, just in the most incredible, spiritual, soulful way. So that's all I have for you today. I hope it resonated. Please let me know if it did or didn't in the comments below, and or like the video, so that I know that you're enjoying what I'm putting out there. And yeah, I hope you have a great day or night whenever you're listening in, and I'll hopefully catch you in the next one. Bye.